Hi everybody, this is Tina with Rehatch Designs. Hope everybody's doing well today. I'm here gonna do a few snippet rolls, and this is going to be an all material snippet and all shabby. So I thought maybe I would just turn on the camera and y'all can watch and see what I'm doing. I might add other things to it later after it's done and when I use them in a journal, but for right now I like to just make them and then in a way that I can figure out how I'm going to use them later. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to use them, or even if I'm going to use them in the journal that I have now. So I thought maybe there might be some people out there that want to see how I do it, or maybe they don't know what a snippet roll is. And basically what a snippet roll is a way to use all your leftovers. I've got this isn't all from this one journal, but I went through my big box and I picked out all the pinks and creams and whites of all my little pieces, and this is what I came up with, which was way more than I thought I had, and that didn't even include these few other bigger pieces. I usually take those out because I cut those up a lot. I also took out some eyelash trim simply because I like to add that when I'm doing a shabby journal, so I have that and just a few other pieces that I found that I thought I would use for sure. I have my other kind of trims and stuff next to me in case I want to add something when I get done, but a lot of times it ends up looking pretty good just with the scraps that I have and just putting them. It's amazing how you can start out with something like that and then it just kind of grows and to look great. But anyway, there's not a lot to it. I'm gonna just do it, and then if you're interested you can watch. This is a ribbon, and it's a cotton ribbon that I bought on sale at Hobby Lobby, and I like to use it when I'm making snippet rolls that are, need to be neutral or whatever. A lot of times I use a ribbon just because if you don't cover every little piece, then what you've got is you've got this, ribbon behind it. And all I'm going to do is I am just going to use my 3-in-1 glue because it's fabric to fabric, and I'm going to use that on here and then just start adding things. So what I do is I just cut a piece, and I'm using my media mat here, so because there's going to be a lot of gluing and it's easier to clean. So I don't know, I mean, this piece is probably, let me see, just about 20 inches or so. You can make them longer if you want. It just depends on what you want to do. Or you can continuously just add to it. I like to just have a piece that probably you could put on two ends, so if you're doing a 6-inch journal or page, 12, 14 inches is enough usually. This is a little bit longer, but just about long enough that if you wanted to use it on 2 pages you could. So I'm going to just take some of my glue, and I've got my little silicone spreader here, and that's really just, I think what it is just a kind of a makeup spreader, and I'm just doing kind of a zigzag across here because I know, and go back up, I want to put enough glue on there, and you have a limited amount of time, which is kind of good because otherwise you might think too much. And then I just take it and kind of spread it, and I've done it with double-sided tape before too, and that does work. But I just wanted to be able to not worry so much about if I don't cover it all. First thing I normally do is I'll take, like here I have some solid material, and you got to watch this too because when you cut fast it's easy to cut your fingers. And I'm going to take this and cut it in pieces, which normally I do before I put my glue down, but should have thought of that. And I'm just going to cut this up. And matter of fact, I think I'd rather tear it because it does tear really easily. It might be easier. And tearing it is a good option because then you get all those frayed edges. And these pieces, I'm not too worried about them being bigger than I would normally use because they're going to kind of be in the background. I have another piece here. I hope I have enough of this. I have other stuff I can put down, but I kind of want this in the background. So I'm going to start putting these on, just laying them on there. I kind of want them in the middle, sort of. That one's not cut enough. I gotta cut it more. I don't care that they're not the same shape or that doesn't bother me at all. And I'm placing these fairly close together. Alright, and then I have some of this pink lace. I'm going to put that on. And these are bigger pieces that I have, because to me they're going to lay the foundation of my whole snippet roll. And I just kind of put those in the leftover spots. Let me get that in here. Normally I should have cut this before I put the glue down, but that's okay. I think we'll make it in time, because your 3-in-1 glue does dry fairly fast. So you definitely could do this with tacky glue. In fact, when I do it, when I'm not filming, that's usually what I use. Okay, and you can see why I wanted the white on there, because you may see pieces of it with this when we're done. And normally I don't put things evenly across like that, but for the foundation of this I want it to be fairly the same, because I'm going to be adding a lot of other things behind there. Okay, good. So we made it with our first roll to where it was still sticky. So that's what we have to start with, that one piece. I don't think there's any glue there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I will cut up some of these pieces, this white here. And I'm just randomly cutting, so it's not like it's any real science to this. Now these pieces I'm cutting a little bit smaller, because the ones on top I usually have a little bit smaller. And I want to put these in there randomly with the other pieces that I put down. And this ribbon is fairly wide. What was it? I don't remember what the width is. Maybe it says on here. 1.5 inches. So it's pretty wide. You may not, depending upon what you're going to use your roll for. I am planning on using it in little parts as belly bands and as pockets and things like that. So I probably am not going to use it like on the edge of a page or anything. So if I use it on the edge of a page, I wouldn't normally go more than 1 inch, because this ends up being wider than it's going to end up being like 2 inches. And so that's what you have to think about. Okay, that's probably enough of this, but I'll cut this up anyway. I just know I'm going to put some of this in there, and I want it kind of cut up. And so I just find random pieces and cut them up. Now these are like leftover pieces that I had when I was doing my pockets and tags. And usually when I know I want a snippet roll, like here's a bigger piece that I used, and I will take that, cut it up, and I'm not really paying a lot of attention as to how I'm cutting it at all. I just am paying attention to the size, which is about half the size of what I cut before, so probably no more than an inch. In fact, I'll probably cut this off of here. And even though this is the part of the lace that you wouldn't normally see, I think it looks good. I like the color of pink that's on there. And this part's kind of beige. And I'm going out of my way to cut these not square and just different shapes, and try not to cut myself, because I've done that before when I do these. So that's a big pile over there. And let's see, I've got more of that, but I'm not going to cut it up. I've got some sari silk here, and this stuff is really flimsy for some reason. I think it's older, but it's a little bit different color pink, and I like that. And I'm going to cut smaller pieces of that. Yeah. So this is pretty much just my leftovers from my project. And usually when I do a snippet roll, I use my leftovers from a project, and I mix it in with like, you know, my box of scraps. Now those are normally small pieces, and I mix those in with this, and it always turns out to be very interesting. But okay, I'm just kind of putting them all over here in a pile. I've got some of the chiffon. Cut pieces of that up. And usually, as a rule, I go smaller and smaller, you know, as I build. And I probably won't use all of these pieces just on this one snippet roll. It'll go on several. So I have this piece of ribbon. I like that. I'm going to cut that up. And I'm just putting it in piles over here. Okay. You see what I said? It's about getting smaller and smaller. Well, we had, or have had, the most interesting weather here in the DFW, Texas area. It's so crazy. One day it's like 25 and the next day it's 75. And it's always like that in Texas, but it has been a lot more wild than it has been in a while. So I don't know what that preludes, but it's crazy, because one day you have your heater on, the next day you have your air conditioner on. So it's just bizarre. I don't know if I want that bright pink in there. I'm going to hold off on that for a while. I do want some of this other, and you know, I'm not just looking for different colors. I'm looking for different textures too. Okay, I like that beige. I'm trying to mix it up, you know, just make it just a little bit random. And as I pick up a piece to put on, if it's not the right size or shape, if it's the right color, I'll just cut it some more, you know. There's no harm in doing that. Okay. Now I really, yeah, that's what I want. I want some of this kind of crocheted stuff, because I like adding that, and I usually put these smaller pieces on top. So I'm just kind of making my piles here. You see what I'm doing. Well, they're not good piles, but I can kind of tell where they are, so. And I'll put different kinds of lace and different pieces. And as I said, I won't use it just on one. This will kind of get, you know, moved around. And these are my legitimate scraps that I have in my scrap box. And I even keep the really teeny tiny ones because you add those in and they turn out great. And I also go to my scrap box like when I need to, you know, do a tie or whatever. Like sometimes what happens is you'll be at the end of a, you know, a spool ribbon and you'll have this piece left over like this. Well, what do you do with that? Well, I put mine in my scrap box. And some, you know, it inevitably at the end of a project, you'll have little pieces of little things here and there. And yes, you can go and put them all in different spots or whatever, but a lot of times I just throw them in here and know that I'll use them. Okay, now this is like little pieces of doily that I cut up, but I usually take those and I'll just maybe cut them in half, or I'll use them whole. It just depends. Let me see. I like to add different things and different textures. Inevitably, when I cut ribbons and stuff, I always have like it too long and always save those little pieces. I always use them. It's not like I don't use them. Let's see, what else was I going to do? I want more pink, but I don't want that bright pink. Oh, here's some more chiffon. It's a different color. Like when you tie a bow or something, you're always going to have, you know how you trim it off in the end and then you've got these extra pieces. Well, and also when I make my little hangy things that I put on my bulb pin, my rusty bulb pins and stuff, bulb pins, these little tiny pieces are exactly what you need, so don't ever throw those away. Okay, I am going to start out with that. I've got this other pink I like though too, and this really is just my scrap. So, and this is not all just from my recent project, so, but some of it is. You always have extra pieces, and I have like a little jar that I keep on my desk when I'm doing a project, and I just put the little tiny pieces in there, and be surprised how often you need them. Alright, I could have done that ahead of time, but I kind of thought for some people that this might actually be a good exercise. You know, they may want to see, like, see, here's this bigger piece right here. Well, I will cut this up and I'll maybe go around some of these pieces here and cut out little pieces so that when I put it on there it looks interesting, right? Of these applique type ribbon. These look really good on top, so I know it seems very haphazard, but they always turn out good. Alright, or at least I think they look good. What other things do we have in here? I don't know if I want to use these or not. They're little tiny pieces and it wouldn't be a lot. I'm going to kind of keep that off to the side. Oh, here's some more chiffon. I don't want to put too much. As I said, this is not just for one snippet roll. This is what I'm going to use on all of them. And it's funny, you'll cut this stuff up and go to use it, and then you'll have like 3 or 4 different ones, and they all end up looking different, even though you're using the same things. Alright, let me cut up this a little bit more, because I might use it. I don't know. I don't want to use too much of the same thing all on one, you know. Maybe I could use a little bit more of this. And then I have this cotton. Cut that up. Also too, sometimes when I'm going to do something, I will decide I don't like how it looks or something, and I'll take it off and whatever, and it may even have glue on the back. This one has glue on the back of it, but when I put it down, you'll never see that, and you can use it. I'll use it on another project. I don't even necessarily have to use it on this project, but that's a lot of times I'll do that. So anyway, I think it's important to see the whole process for new people, and if the people that have been around too long, if it's boring for you, then just fast forward, and you can see the end. I do that sometimes when I'm just like, I don't have time for this. I go right to the end so I can see what it looks like in the end. But other times I like to see the whole process, because I want to see how other people do things, even if I already know how to do it. And there are a lot of people out there that are new to junk journaling, so, and they have no idea what I'm doing right now. They're going, what is she? She's making a mess. But okay, now I'm going to go ahead and start gluing, and if I need more pieces, I will grab as I go. Okay, so I'm going to kind of put this, oh, I do want more of these. I wish I had more of that in there. Oh, I do have little pieces in there. I'll cut those up. This little pink trim. Oh look, right when I said that, all of them just started showing up. Isn't that weird? Huh. Well, that's strange. Put some of those over here in the mix. I tend to put these more delicate pieces on top when I'm doing this. So there's another piece over there. I think I'll just work with what I have for now. If I need more, I'll cut it up. Okay. And I really do kind of keep it in piles. Oh, I like that. Cut that up. This is just satin ribbon, but I want a little bit more beige in there, or kind of off-white, because it seems like we have a lot of darker colors in there, and I don't have a lot of white, so I do want to make sure I put that in there. And also too, I try and do a good mix of lace and material, kind of, and I consider like ribbon kind of more material, you know, and so that's what, I don't know, just because I think it ends up looking better in my opinion. Alright. And a lot of times too, when I'm doing snippet rolls, I will go ahead and take my material box out and use that. Oh, see, I want to put that on later. I found that pink in there. So, I have this. I'll do that later if I need it. Okay. So, now I'm going to just start taking my glue. Move that up higher so you can see it. I'm going to move this box out of the way. I have it next to me, and I'm going to work with this, and if I need more, then I will grab it. Okay. But what I'm going to do is go ahead. So I'm going to go ahead and just put glue. And I'm probably not going to do the whole, well, I might. Let's see. I'm just going to put some glue, kind of like I did before. And if I have any spots I missed last time, I'm just not going to do as much. Let me do that. Oops. Not really spreading it. I'm just going to kind of layer stuff on there. Now I'm going to try and do a little beige, because I did a lot of pink on the other one. And I'm just kind of laying it on top of the glue. And I don't want these too close to each other, but I still want to have them. And I'm picking up random pieces too. I'm doing some of the same pieces, but also some random ones. Let's see. I'm not really trying to, basically I'm trying to fill in wherever I put glue. And that way I can put that, okay, there we go. Alright, and then I'm going to add a little bit more of this beige, and you just kind of, I don't know, just try and mix it up. That's the best I can say, is just to kind of mix it up. Don't really think too much, just throw things down. That's why in some ways it's kind of good if you're using a glue that dries quickly, because it forces you to act quickly, you know. And try and mix your colors and your different types of laces and your trims. And if you have too much glue showing, then just add a piece of material to it. Okay, so that's as far as the glue that we put on that layer. And you can't see any more glue. So then I go down and I do a little bit more. I guess I'll go all the way down to the edge. And I'm putting that zigzag on, but I kind of try and go in, and you can use your fingers for sure. I think actually, let me use my other little, this is my thing that I bought at the dollar store that I think works really well. It is a, supposedly it's for your lips, I think, so to kind of, it has like a little bumps on it. But it works really great to smush your glue around. Also, and it's a silicone, so the glue comes off of it really easily. Okay, I actually put too much glue right there, but I will fix that. Alright, let me put that right there. Put that over here. And you can definitely take a wipe if you put too much glue in one spot and just wipe it off. I want to put more of that over there. And I want some down here. Oh, and I have some gauze in here too. I wish I had, I'm going to get more of that. But I like to put that in there too because I love the texture of it. And these are just scrap pieces, but no big deal. I need more pink right there. And I'm just kind of looking at it as I go and deciding what I need. And all I'm really trying to do is vary it. That's it. There's no rhyme or reason to anything I'm doing. I do try and put kind of like these applique pieces more on top. I don't know why, I just think they look cool on top. And I also try and put the really delicate, like these pieces, I try and put those on top, and I mix these up. You know, I don't like put the same ones, you know, right next to each other. That's kind of the key. Put more of that gauze in there too. See, even though it looked like I put a bunch of glue down, it's just, and all I'm really doing is making sure I'm getting all the glue spots with something. And even if you don't get them down all the way, don't worry, because we're going to sew over this. And this is one thing that I really think the sewing makes all the difference. So, I don't know, you can sew it by hand if you do not have a sewing machine, but it really makes a huge difference, because what it does is it just kind of finishes it off. Okay, my glue, I don't have any glue left, so oop, that's sticking to it. Let me move that. Got glue on my thumb, I might as well use it. Put that right there. Okay, Anyway, let me go ahead, and this will be probably the last pass that we put on there. So you're really just trying to put enough glue on there to kind of hold it in place until you can sew it, because the sewing is really what's going to kind of keep it there. I've got this other glue. I'm going to try that too and see. I think it's the same as 3-in-1, and I'm going to do this a little bit lighter this time because I don't think I have to put that many more pieces on. Put the top on that and the top on this. All right. Oops. Well, let me do this. Well, that one is not wanting to cooperate, so I'm going to move it. Okay. Ugh. Get it off my finger. Now this is where I'm a little bit more selective of what I put on there, because I know this is going to be the top. So I will probably, you know, pick certain things out that I want to be on there. Like I want that piece. Oops. And I just knocked the whole thing over. Okay, that's all right. It picked up other pieces as it fell over. I want certain pieces I want to be across the top. Like I want this to be here. And then I may want this to be over here. I kind of have certain ideas that I want to have going all the way across. Like I want some of these little pink pieces on here. Let's see what else I have. Maybe I'll put that on there. And now I'm going to take some of these little pink pieces. I've got some of that gauze sticking to my fingers now. Get off, get off. There we go. And I'm probably going to just try and distribute those. Any places where I see glue, I'm going to fill that in with this. And that kind of gets rid of the glue and it adds more interest. Or any other color that I think it needs. Like I think that needs a little beige over there. And then I'm going to put that over there. I don't want any more chiffon over there. Let me try. Let me try this. No. Yeah, I like that. That'll look good. Put that right here. You can see what I mean by when I said I put the more delicate pieces last. Because if I put those down in the beginning, you wouldn't even see them. So, and now I'm kind of just finishing it up. Looking wherever there's some gaps where I need to put something. Or if I see a lot of glue, I put something on top of it. Because I don't want it to be, I don't want you to be able to see the glue. And this actually, you know what it does is it just hides it. So, okay, let me see. I think we need something right there. I'm going to put that piece. Oh, there's already one under there. Let me do something different. Like that. Okay. All right. And if I see any white pieces that I want to cover, this would be the time that I go in and I selectively, like here, there's a little bit of a gap, so I may put a little bit of something in there. Let's see, I didn't put any of this white down. So I may do that in all of these little spots. I'm just not looking for any big pieces of ribbon. And also, if I feel like it needs another color that I need to layer on top, then I will do that. Like right here. I can layer another color. And I don't worry about the edges so much because I know that I can cut them to how I want them. So I'm not too worried about that. I am going to put a little of this organza on top with the dots. Just because I think it'll give it a nice kind of a whimsy. Just a little bit here and there. Not all over, just in a few spots. Alright, believe it or not, that's it. Okay, so that is everything on that one. And I basically, that's all I do. I go from one to another and I just take the pieces, like we have a lot of leftover pieces, and that'll make at least one, if not two more, that we cut up. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and finish this. I'm going to make another one, but I'm going to show you what I do. The last thing that I do after I get all these pieces is when I take my eyelash trim, and I put eyelash trim on there. And the way that I do it is kind of unique. I don't like how that looks. I'm going to move those over a little bit. There we go. It needs another piece over here. Looks kind of weird. There's not any over there. Maybe another pink dot one over there. And then another one over there. And another white one over here maybe. Okay, move that over. Now what I'm going to do is look around, think if I need to add anything else to it. I really do try not to overthink it because, you know, they always turn out no matter what you do to it. They just do. And I remember the first few times I did them, I just really felt like I spent way too much time trying to make them perfect, and in the end it doesn't make any difference at all because they always turn out really well. It's kind of a weird thing. Okay, now I'm gonna take my eyelash trim, as I was talking about, and I put that on in kind of a weird way. I take it, if I can get a long piece here that doesn't have a lot of stuff attached to it. There's a big knot in the middle of this. There we go. Well, that knot's still there, so let me cut this off. I think this one will be big enough. If not, we can attach more to it. But okay, so then I just take my eyelash trim and I will do kind of a zigzag across here, where I take my, just like I was doing before, but I do it more toward the middle, like kind of just like that. And I go like that all the way down. And then I just kind of lay my eyelash trim, and I'm going to use that little dauber because my fingers, to set it down, but I'm not going to do that. And I'm just following my glue. I'm laying it right on top of my glue. And I really think when I'm making a shabby one, even when I'm not making a shabby one, the eyelash trim is just what really kind of finishes it off. It gives it that really shabby look. Now this I bought, this eyelash trim was white when I got it, and I've actually gotten to where I buy the white on almost everything, whether it's lace or trim, because then I can make it whatever color I want. Because a lot of times when I think I'm getting beige or something or whatever color, the color doesn't look the way I want it to look, or what I imagined or what I thought it was going to look like. And getting white to me is actually more economical because I can make it whatever color I want. Now I do have different colored things, and that's because I always used to buy colors. Now, if I wanted to really pump this up and make it a lot brighter, I could definitely add this more hot pink, but I'm not going to do that on this. I may do it on another one, but I may not do it on that. So I'm going to take my little pusher down thing and I'm going to go and do that. Let me get some of this glue off of here because it does the same thing as when you have your fingers. You can definitely use your fingers. And I'm just going to kind of push it down just to kind of get it in the glue. I was pushing it down a little bit when I put it down, but I want to make sure. And it doesn't have to be perfectly down, just enough to where it sticks. And I am going to sew over that, okay? So, what I will do is, now sometimes I'll put 2 things of eyelash trim on there, but I think I'm just going to do 1 on this. I think 1 will work. I think 1 will be just fine. I'm going to cut this off because there's a little bit too much on the end. And I don't think I'm going to add anything else to that. I think it looks good the way it is. I'm going to go ahead and finish off using the rest of my pieces and make another one. But and then I will sew these. And usually what I do is I'd make 2 to 3 long lines of a zigzag stitch. So I go zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. And I do that because the zigzag catches more of it. And it looks really cool, I think, when it's done. It looks good now to me, but... And then if I need to trim off, like these pieces are sticking out a little bit or whatever, then I will. But I'd still try and do it kind of haphazardly. So I'm going to make another one of these, and I'm going to sew them. And I will be back to show you the finished product. Okay? I went ahead and sewed it, and basically I just did it 2 times with the zigzag stitch, and it, you know, all went together pretty good. It looks pretty shabby. At this point, what I would do is I would cut any, you know, pieces that are sticking out too far. Or just leave it till you get ready to put it in a journal and decide. Like I see one piece right here that's maybe sticking out a tiny bit too much. But ultimately you want it to be shabby, so you don't want to cut too much of that off. But you may have a few pieces that are, you know, just too far out there. So anyway, that's what I would do. Like this one has one that's too far. And I went ahead and not only did I do that one, I went ahead and did 3 just because I had everything out, so, and I had already divided everything up. So anyway, there's another one that I did. Here's another one. I put a few darker tones in that. And then here's one that I did that is all neutral tones. And if you do them in a neutral like this, you can add other colors later on, and then, you know, like I could put blue, for instance, and then just sew it, put another line down the middle. The other thing that you could do is you could add like flat back pearls, you know, either randomly or in a line, or I would probably just kind of put them all over. You could put some pink ones maybe. That would be really pretty. Some other kind of blingy things, you know, just whatever. Another thing I like to do is buttons for sure. Let's see if I can just, I'm going to grab some and just give you an idea of how pretty buttons look on there. Let's see. Let's just take that one. Just randomly put different, you know, buttons on there, and they would be really pretty. I think, but just an idea of how things that you could do to really dress these up if you want to. Also, you can use these for, like I use these for little pockets on a page. You can put them on a piece of cardstock and then make a pocket. You can make a belly band out of it on a page. They're great for putting on the spine of your journal. They really dress up the outside of a journal. And so they're relatively easy to make. And I don't know. You can also, if you want to, let me see, you could take like little cutout flowers or something if you wanted to and put those on there later or something, or butterflies or whatever you think you might want to put on there, just to kind of dress them up a little. Let me see if I have any more butterflies. I probably do. Just to give you an idea of the things that you could do. That's a big butterfly. I don't have any small ones. Surely I have some butterflies. Let me look over here real quick. Yeah, I do. You know, just put, you could put whatever it is that you think, like, you know, I don't know. Put smaller things on there too. I mean, I'm just saying that that would be a way to add different paper things to it, you know, and then just do it that way. You know, just to give you an idea of some of the things that you could do. I personally, you know, don't do anything to them until I know where I'm going to put them. I mean, you could put this on a page and make it a belly band, and then maybe put a flower in the middle of it and decorate that. You could put some buttons on it with that and, you know, combine them. The sky's the limit as far as what you could do with these. And they're very easy to make, and it uses up your scraps. And as I said, I usually do them at the end of a project because I always have lots of scraps, and then I do them when my, you know, when my scrap bucket becomes pretty big a lot of times, and you can cut up other things to put in them. And as I said, you could put, you know, different cutouts on there too, but I usually make them and then just kind of hang on to them, and you can definitely make these. I think these look really cool. You could add color to this, maybe just put different colored buttons on there, you know, or something. So, or like I have some tatting. If later I decide I want to use this for, you know, pink or something, I could add that randomly to it, or, you know, do whatever it is that you want to do. But anyway, that is how I make them, and I do them different ways, but this is probably my favorite way as far as the shabby way. So, like, see, that piece needs to be cut, but I don't really ever worry too much about it until I know that where I'm going to put it. And I like them, you know, a little bit jaggedy on the ends, because I think that's what makes them all shabby. All right, well, thanks for watching, and then I'll see you guys again soon.